Hello everyone, Andrew back with another batch of comic reviews. Now we've got 3 comic reviews for you this time, so we're going to try and not be super fast with them, but try and make sure we can pack them nicely into this 10-minute time slot we have. Now, if you want to see my full extent reviews of all 3 of these comics, as well as Blackest Night Batman and Blackest Night #2, you can check out the link there that goes to my comic review blog, where I have those other reviews that are all in-depth and whatnot. Now, I was going to just review Ultimate Comics Spider-Man and Ultimate Comic Avengers issue 001, but at the request of Viper Pulse, I've decided to add Amazing Spider-Man number 602 as well. So, Ultimate Comics Spider-Man issue number 1, written by Brian Michael Bendis with art by David LaFuente. Now, I had really high expectations for this, which is why I was a little let down. Now, after rereading it several times, I wasn't as let down, but this issue gives way too many questions than answers. Brian Michael Bendis had a pretty simple job here. Establish the new status quo of the series, tell us what happened to the supporting cast, and then run with it. That's all we really needed. Sadly, we don't really get that. And there are spoilers, by the way, here. And spoiler, for whatever reason, Peter is dating Gwen. We don't get an explanation as to why. They just are. They kiss and then bam. No reason why. Which is very frustrating, to say the least. I mean, I don't mind it. It's a cool dramatic shift. I mean, this is what happens when you have a story. You develop things. Peter isn't obviously always going to date MJ. That'd be silly. But you can't give us this kind of twist without explaining it. That's bullshit. Still, with this one frustrating twist also comes the fact that Gwen sees Peter as like a brother. So it's not only out of nowhere, it's creepy. But oh well. David LaFuente's art was amazing. Just absolutely gorgeous stuff. Seriously, I could say this, you should just buy this book just for the art alone. But it's not really all that great, to be honest, and I had high expectations, because Bendis always delivers, usually, when it comes to Ultimate Spider-Man. Nearly always, at least. And he doesn't really quite deliver here, which is a big shame. Still, I gotta give him credit. He does at least give us enough for an enjoyable issue. But the main flaw here is that it's a $3.99 comic when it feels like a $2.99 comic. There's no extra pages. And hell, Image Comics sells comics that are 32 pages that are just $3 or $3.50. $3.50. I mean, it's just exploiting us for the money, obviously. It really is a $2.99 comic that I really don't think is worth the extra dollar. But at the same time, it's good enough to where I say, give it a check. Check it. The writing gets a 3 out of 5, the art gets a 5 out of 5, and overall it's a 3 out of 5, check it. And now we come to Ultimate Avengers, written by Mark Millar, art by Carlos Pacheco. I didn't like Ultimates, so I didn't really come into this one with really high expectations. I'm like, okay, here it is, let's buy it. But I gotta say, while I was disappointed at how short this read was, again, it's a $2.99 comic in the guise of a $3.99 comic. It's not worth the price tag. Still, it was an impressive debut issue in the sense that it did get things rolling nicely. The character work was brilliant. Ultimate Hawkeye is finally cool again. Ultimate Captain America is just awesome. I really, really liked seeing Ultimate Red Skull. I can't wait to see more of him soon. But, try as I might, it's way too short. It just cuts off, and just like that, we're done. It's frustrating. Still, it's a good read. Now, Carlos Pacheco is an awesome artist. I really love his style. I was really excited to see what he does here. With the story being so short, he doesn't really get to stretch his wings and really impress, though. So it's disappointing. Still, I'm gonna say this. The dialogue is solid. The action is a little too short, but well enough done. The character work is great, and the art is pretty damn good. So I'm gonna say check this one out also. But if you had to choose between this or Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, Ultimate Comics Spider-Man is the superior product, mostly because I can depend on Bendis, whereas I found Mark Millar to be sort of a hit-or-miss art writer. He can do some good stuff here and there, but for the most part, he's just not quite on Bendis' level when it comes to Ultimate Comics. So, now let's move on to Amazing Spider-Man number 602. After the Red-Headed Stranger arc debuted with Mark Waid and Mario Alberti, I was really confused as to why it was Fred Van Lente writing and Barry Kitson was on art. I mean, what the hell? It's very disjointing for the readers, and it's very confusing. Which is definitely the feeling here. I mean, this feels like the first part of Red-Headed Stranger, not number 601. Number 601 felt like a one-shot, which was great. I liked that. But issue number 602 feels like the first part of a story arc, which was good. Now, for the pros, I really did love the Chameleon. I thought after that stupid Obama backup in issue number 583, I think it was, after that I'm like, you know what, the Chameleon is no longer an interesting villain. Marvel's pretty much just said, here, he's a cheesy cash-in villain. Ha 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 ha. But man, Fred Van Lente, just, wow, he wrote a creepy chameleon. I mean, wow. That was pretty messed up. But, the plot, not all that great. It really drags when Peter goes in to get a job with J. Jonah Jameson. It's like, wow, dude. That just pretty much halted any of it for me. And it came to a screeching halt, and I got really bored then. Still, I'm gonna be fair and say it was entertaining, at least. Barry Kitson's art was pretty good, not his best stuff. He still does a pretty good job, though. Now, I did like seeing MJ. We finally saw MJ, and thank God there was no One More Day pokes. If we got that, that would have sucked, because Van Lente has a great handle on MJ's character. She's fun, she's quirky, she's a little crazy, and it's great. We get her, she's there, and she talks for a while. She doesn't get the whole page time like I thought she would. I thought she was going to be, like, there the whole damn time, like the main character. And man, what a hook ending. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but I know it's probably not what it looks like, but for what it was a pretty good ending. So I'm going to say this. If you decide to skip over last issue, don't worry about jumping on with this issue, because it's pretty much... God, can we even count last issue as a part of the Red-Headed Stranger arc? I don't think so. Maybe some will. But, yeah. So, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 check it. The writing and art are both 3 out of 5 stuff. It's good. Now, let's just wrap this up here, and I'll, so yeah. So, long story short, Ultimate Comics Spider-Man issue number 1. Definitely check it out if you're a fan of Ultimate Spider-Man, especially if you're someone who, like me, loves good artwork. Because, yeah, this is totally worth it. Despite the fact that the supporting cast pretty much gets shafted. MJ only gets one panel, Kitty just gets a reference, Gwen gets a few pages for obvious reasons, but for the most part, wow. But anyway. Then now on Ultimate Comics Avengers, pretty good, way too short, like Ultimate Comics... Ooh, sorry, I hit the mic with the comic. Like Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, way too short, still a good read. And finally... Amazing Spider-Man number 602. Good art, good read, gets a little boring in the middle, still enjoyable, so all of these are 3 out of 5 check-its. That's all I gotta say. This is Andrew in the Metal Hellspawn. Adios.